as I was sitting on the couch one afternoon watching the boys play together, it just hit me. How is he already crawling? When did he start giggling? I could not remember any of it. And that terrified me. Hi, I'm Monique, Cara. Welcome to the You Are a Work of Art podcast, where we lean into heart-centered creativity as an essential part of building our capacity for joy. Joy isn't just an emotion we feel, it's a reservoir of strength that enriches our brightest moments and carries us through our darkest ones. That's where I come in. If we haven't met yet, I'm a full-time working mom of 2 boys, an entrepreneur, and a fine artist. I learned how to create in the margins of life. I get it, we're all busy, but friend, creativity isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It is central to our purpose, our joy, and our legacy. Together, we'll explore practical tools to purposely nurture our creativity. Through the ups and downs, setbacks and breakthroughs, struggles and delights, it's all part of the process, and it's a journey you don't have to figure out alone. So grab your headphones and get ready to venture into your most joyful, creative life. This is You Are a Work of Art. Welcome to the very first episode of the You Are a Work of Art podcast. I am so excited to be chatting with you today. There is so much goodness coming up and I cannot wait to share it with you. Now, I know you might be thinking, I am not creative. What are you talking about? I'm a work of art. But I want to stop you right there because you were born with creativity, and I am here to help you wake creativity back up and light your soul on fire. Creativity is not a luxury, it is a necessity. And in this first episode, I am not holding back. We are going to dive straight into the deep stuff. So let's go. Because this is the first episode, and for any of this to make sense, you need to know a little about me. And I'm not going to bore you with all the details of my life story, but there are some key points I really want to hone in on. I'm a military brat, and I am actually active duty military myself now. I was born and grew up in Germany for most of my childhood, so I absolutely love traveling. I have ventured and tried many creative things all throughout my life, so let's count them. Scrapbooking, cake decorating, sewing, photography, videography. Recently, it's been candle making. I've tried pottery. I have a laser engraver, and if you don't know me at all, I am a fine artist painter, so painting. And if I've done my public math right, that's 9 things. And I know there's probably more. So needless to say, I love trying and discovering new things, but I've officially landed on painting, and that has been the consistent one all throughout my life. So I'm a contemporary abstract artist. And if you love color, you can go check out my work at moniquecarastudio.com. So in saying that, obviously, I'm also an entrepreneur and have done a couple different business ventures. And one of the proudest accomplishments of mine thus far has been being named one of Utah Business Magazine's 20 in their 20s. And that was in the year 2020. So it was really funny how that all worked out. But it was so humbling to be among so many amazing human beings. I absolutely love helping people, hence this podcast. I am here to help you. Seriously, it brings me so much joy. I've had the most incredible opportunity to lead literally hundreds being in the military over the last decade, and I love to speak, which is why I have a podcast, and I also really enjoy teaching. I'm a TEDx speaker and a certified life and leadership coach. And finally, I would be remiss if I did not mention my pride and joys. I am a mama of 2 sweet, handsome boys, aged 3 and 1, so they're pretty little. And this is important to the story, and you'll see why. So recapping in less words, active duty military, so full-time working. I'm a fine artist, entrepreneur, certified coach, a speaker, and a mama too. Whew. I know what you're probably thinking. How do you do it all? It is a question I get asked quite frequently, and that's what this podcast is for, to teach you all the things. So please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. As much as I'd love to think I know everything, I am learning each and every day. Okay, so the title of this episode is How Creativity Saved Me. Pretty strong, but it continues to do so, and we are about to go full circle. So here we go. Not only am I in the military, my husband is as well. And if you're not familiar with how the military is structured, when you reach a certain point in your career, Uncle Sam comes calling to have you serve overseas for a year, unaccompanied. What does that mean exactly? It's when the service member leaves their family for a year by themselves to go serve our country. And I want to be really clear that we're not complaining about this. We knew what we signed up for, but there are struggles that come along with that. You're pulling apart a family for a year. So quickly fast forward, 2 weeks after my husband went overseas, in the middle of a global pandemic, mind you, I was working full-time in a high-demand job, single momming it with a toddler. He was a year and a half old. And we had been trying to have another baby before he left, but we were having some fertility issues. Well, to such a beautiful surprise, we found out I was pregnant. Again, this is 2 weeks after he left, which means that I would be doing this pregnancy basically on my own, working full time with a toddler, and in the middle of a pandemic. Needless to say, it was a really tough year. So pile on the daycare closures because of COVID, doctor's visits, and family visits. I honestly have no idea how I did it looking back on it, but I am so much stronger for it, and I'm really thankful. I'm also very thankful that my husband was able to make it back for the birth, but he was only home for like the first 2 weeks of his life, and then he had to go finish his commitment overseas for about 4 more months. So again, on my own, with not only my toddler, but a newborn as well. So wait for it. While prepping for a move across the US, so I had to get rid of things, I had to prep to sell the house, I had to sell the house, I had to schedule the movers, we had to purchase a new vehicle. Honestly, I was like, can we catch a break? My husband came home 2 days before the movers arrived, and we packed up and we took 2 weeks to drive across the country in an RV that we brought, coming back together as a family, trying to reintegrate with a toddler and newborn. And let me tell you, that is not for the faint of heart. We moved into our new house and we started our new jobs about a week after we arrived to where we are now, here on the East Coast. And that was in the middle of July, about last year. August was a hard month. I have been blessed to not have had any mental health concerns throughout my life. And I mean, I had baby blues with our first son, but it was nothing crazy. Well, I was diagnosed with postpartum depression in September, and it had hit me like a freight train. And it was something I was not expecting at all, because I had a really great just like birth experience and everything with our first son. So I had no idea what was going on with me. I was having crazy mood swings. I was angry. And I had no idea why. Like, I would just in an instant like snap, and it seriously started to affect my relationship with my kids who need me, my husband who loves me, and really myself. I felt like I was losing who I was fundamentally, and I was missing a part of myself. As I was sitting on the couch one afternoon watching the boys play together, it just hit me. How is he already crawling? When did he start giggling? I could not remember any of it. And that terrified me. I knew something needed to change. This episode was sponsored by my fine art, Monique Cara Studio. Art is an expression of who you are. Whether it's your home or office, art is what makes it yours. My paintings are bursting with color, literally. Color influences not only your mood, but behavior as well, making it likely one of the most important things to consider when adding it to your space. Inspired by feelings and emotions, my intriguing color palettes merge joy and calmness, as well as excitement and inspiration. Whether you're looking for a large statement piece or a small burst of color, my paintings are sure to lift your spirits. Shop available art at MoniqueCaraStudio.com and use code WORKOFART at checkout for a special free gift just for being a listener of the podcast. I'm so grateful you're here and I can't wait to brighten your space. Now let's get back to the episode. I went and saw a therapist, and I just want to insert here that accepting that I had depression and anxiety, as I would try to call it stress, and downplaying the issue, and seeing a therapist was really hard for me because the way I grew up, we just never thought about that. It was never a thing for us. And so it took a while before I was able to call it what it was so that I could work through it. And now I advocate so much that therapy is incredibly helpful and that everyone, and I mean everyone, needs a little help sometimes, and that is okay. One of the first questions that she asked me when I went to go see my therapist was, "What do you do for yourself?" And I told her how I enjoy being creative and painting helps to center me. And naturally, the conversation progressed. When was the last time you did that? Do you have a dedicated space to yourself? What steps are you taking so that you can do that? And a light bulb just clicked. First off, it had been quite some time. I was creating in the very slim margins of my life. I mean, you heard the story of that crazy year. So I wasn't having anything consistent or robust at all creatively. And I need a creative outlet. Like, I know that about myself. And I knew that just having a third party kind of come in and say it was so helpful. So I came home that night and I told my husband that I wanted to paint. And he was really supportive. If you saw the look on his face, it probably screamed like, "Whatever you need to do to stop being crazy." He didn't use those words, but I know that I was like acting crazy. So we made a little corner of our kitchen, my space where I can come and go when I had time, and that it was easily accessible. Our house is a lot smaller here than it was in Utah, so we don't have like an actual office space, which we would love. So in my kitchen it is. But this changed my life. Seriously. Painting again, being creative, having that outlet brought me so much peace. It was a break that I needed. I was able to sit in stillness. I was able to calm myself. It was exciting, and I was expressing myself in ways that I cannot explain. It allowed me to just be full of discovery and not just learning more about the medium, so painting, but also myself. I found myself again. I was more present with my family, sharing in creativity with my boys. I set up a coloring table right next to my painting desk, and they frequently want to draw and paint right next to me. And it's so cute. Our oldest is always like saying, "Mama, you painted that. It's really pretty." So it fills my heart so much. Like I said, I'm able to express myself when words escape me, and I'm not super awesome with words. I'm pretty plain, but the point is I found my joy again, and I'm able to also bring joy to others as well with my paintings. So what happened? Life, that's what happened. I don't know your story, but a wise person once told me that the more personal a story, the more universal it is. So I know you have something or are going through something hard. It might not be like bam in your face. It could be something that's kind of like drudging on. You might be feeling down, but you can do this, I promise. In those difficult times, those transitions, you are getting ready for something incredible. You have to put in the work, but you can work through it. You've got this. So, what did we learn? We learned that my life was a hot mess for almost 2 years. But seriously, we learned that we can do hard things. You and me. And also, therapy is awesome. I still see her like once a month, which is really great. But what I really hope you walk away with from this story is that creativity is a necessity. Whatever that might look like for you, you heard the 9 and many other things I've tried creatively. It doesn't have to be anything on a grand scale at all, whether it's writing in a journal, coloring in a coloring book, cooking, or interior decorating. But it can also be something more involved. I know some incredible creatives that have some amazing mediums. So a medium is their tool or art of choice. And since I just explained that, it's definition time because I'll use this all the time, I'm sure. Creative as a noun is someone who is creative, enjoys making and creating things. Of course, it's also a verb, like the act of creating something. And it's also an adjective, like living a creative life. So it's very versatile and I love it. But reining myself back in, it can be simple or it can be more in depth. And I remember my mom did some stained glass for some time, and I know a coworker right now who enjoys screen printing. So something that helps you find your peace and center is what we're after. So let me ask you this. What is your creative outlet? Have you thought about that recently? I know you might be thinking, Monique, again, I am not creative. I can't paint like you do. I can't make pottery. Side note, just because I said I tried it does not mean I was any good at it. My husband, we found out, was actually way better at throwing clay than I was. We just did like a little couples pottery class. So there are things out there for you to try. Just don't let that imposter monster get the best of you. You were born creative. You have natural talents. If you don't believe me, think back when you were a tiny human. You had such a fierce imagination. We're going to dust it off and make it shiny again. So let me ask you again. What is your creative outlet? What gets you excited? What helps you to escape and find peace? Again, you don't have to be quote unquote good at it. That comes with time and practice. It's work. I'm not going to lie to you, but it is so worth it. And you have no idea what you're capable of, but I know you have potential. So keep thinking on that while I tell you another quick story. When I started painting almost daily again, like I said, painting has been a pretty constant creative outlet for me throughout my life. When I had to go overseas by myself to the Middle East, I picked up painting there too because it was just hard being there without my husband. I had like a really terrible roommate and a pretty crappy boss, but I digress. Painting there helped me to find that peace and calm. Painting helps me to listen to myself, and I'm not saying that you need to be a painter. That's just what I do. So insert whatever creative outlet to what I'm saying. That is yours. But it helps me to express myself in ways that words can't describe, yet my heart and soul are on the canvas. If you like to journal, that is your heart and soul on the paper. If you like to interior decorate, that is your heart and soul building your home. If you're a chef and you like to cook, that is your heart and soul on the plate and you are nourishing people. How incredible is that? It brings you joy, and it brings whoever is consuming your creativity joy as well. I got to a place where, one, I had way too many paintings. Not a bad thing, but space is a thing. And two, I wanted to spread joy to others. And I truly believe that if more people in this world felt joy, the world would be a better place. And what better way to do that than with colorful paintings? So I started yet another business, and I sold 2/3 of my first collection. And in the art world, that's a really great conversion rate. So that's a good news story, right? So from a heck of a year and a half to a successful fine art business, I can honestly say that creativity saved me. It helped me in my relationships. It has helped me find my own peace. It has helped have an additional income to help support my family and have that disposable income. Now, you don't have to start a business or anything crazy, but if you want to, I will be here cheering for you with all my might. But I do believe, again, that creativity is a necessity and that you absolutely need to have a creative outlet. You deserve a creative life. You deserve to put joy into the world. You are meant to be more. So how can you do this? I'm going to give you a couple thoughts. Start simple. Journal or sketch in a sketchbook. If you want the lines done for you, go get a coloring book. They literally have coloring books for anything and everything you'd ever want. Seriously, I know someone that has a Jason Momoa coloring book. Yeah. So these next two are not ads. I just genuinely love them and use them for myself and my creative needs. So if you enjoy or want to try painting, check out Let's Make Art. They have painting kits that have the paint and instructions and a link to the video where you can paint along and create with the instructor. All you need to buy aside from the kit is the paintbrush, and they have recommendations for you on the website and a palette, but a kitchen plate works just as well. And the last one, if you want to get really fun, is the Crafter's Box. They have full up workshops on everything ranging from painting to making things with quilting, clay, candle and soap making, literally all the things, macrame. They are adding more classes all the time. The most recent one I bought, and I am really, really excited for this, is their stained glass class. They literally send you everything you need for the project. And you can either get a subscription to their site, and so you get a new project like every month, or you can buy them one at a time, which is what I did, but it's totally your choice. And I have too many of their workshops. It's almost embarrassing to say, probably like 9 of them on top of everything else I listed in the beginning, but seriously, love them. I know you have the light inside of you, and we just gotta find the switch to let you shine. So here's your homework for the week. I want you to reflect on your life. What is something that you enjoy and maybe haven't done in a while? Make time to explore that, whether that's research or actually doing the thing. Once you figure it out, or if you already have a creative outlet, I'd love to chat with you about it. So send me a DM on Instagram at It's Monique Cara so we can talk. All right. This episode went a little longer than I intended. So to set some expectations for you, I'm targeting around 15 to 20 minute solo episodes. So it's something simple and easy that you can listen to because I know you're busy. With guest episodes, they're probably going to be in the 30 to 45 minute range, long enough to keep you company on your commute. So thank you so much for being here with me today and listening in. As you can see, I am not holding back. The hard stuff makes us who we are, and I am here to celebrate everything too. So cake, please. Okay. I'd like to end every episode with an affirmation to help guide you to a creative life. And today's affirmation is, I am moving towards clarity and light. I'm going to say it again. I am moving towards clarity and light. This is courtesy of the Emily Jeffords Do It for the Process card deck. If you don't have it, you should look into it. It's really fun to pick a card or two before diving into like my creative space for the day. If you enjoyed today's episode, remember your homework. Simply take time to reflect on what it is that brings you joy creatively. Be sure to check out the show notes again for all the links to all the things I mentioned in the episode. Those can be found at moniquecara.com/episode 001. Join me next week. I'm going to have my first guest, Julia Whitworth. She is a mixed media artist. She's incredible, and she's going to be talking about all of her creative process. If you love the show, could you do me 2 quick favors? First, take a screenshot of the podcast or a photo of where you're listening, post it to your stories, and tag me on Instagram. I'm at It's Monique Cara. I'm so excited to hear from you, and I'll always share it with my audience as well. Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, can you take a second to leave a quick 5-star review? This helps us find more amazing humans like you, and your support in these 2 things truly means the world to me. Thank you so much in advance for your kind words. Talk soon.